Wager is many things: educational, informative, entertaining. But yesterday, Mark Zinno, you can add to the list. I believe we are now officially, unofficially perhaps, the #1 Big Sky podcast in all of the land. So we got that Weber State game down right. That was a client play for me. I know your client play yesterday was also in the Big Sky.
The Grizz, Montana, and Eastern Washington get over the total. Montana gets over its team total, and they cover the 9.5. Cover the 9.5 was probably a little bit lucky. Probably shouldn't happen.
What?
But
I was looking at the play-by-play from in the wee hours. Yes, it was a little lucky. But hey,
I stayed up and watched the whole game like an idiot. I did not subscribe to the Bryan Power theory of taking first halves. Thank God, because Montana was losing in the first half. But Bryan Power loves to take the first half in late games because he doesn't have to stay up the whole time. And I stayed up the whole time. So there's that.
You're a winner. I'm a winner. We're all winners. You're 2-1 on the show yesterday. We were 2-1 on the show yesterday, but you want to address the losing selection.
So we decided yesterday, for those who didn't watch, to take the under 254 between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Atlanta Hawks. To which somebody in the chat goes, and I tell you guys every show, tread carefully in the chat. Tread carefully in the chat. To the guy who called us, quote, effing clowns, let's just evaluate that game, okay, for what it's worth, okay? Yeah. Here's what happened in that game that allowed it to go over to a total of 262, which was 8 points over the number. But let's just look at a couple of things that happened in this game that ultimately were the difference in this game alone. Let's start for one, that Desmond Bane, the leading scorer in the game, had a season-high 35 points. For a guy who averages 18, he had a season-high 35. Fair to call that unexpected. Let's go to the Hawks' leading scorer in Zachary Richarche, the rookie. For just the third time the entire season, he scored more than 20 points in a game when he had 27. Let's also look at, by the way, Vince Williams Jr. of the Memphis Grizzlies, who averages 7 points a game and plays just on average about 15 minutes per game. He happened to have double his output and had 15 points. Okay? So these are what you would call statistical anomalies, things that don't always happen. And by the way, I forgot to even mention, Karis LeVert put up 25. First of all, the most he's had since coming to the Hawks. And, by the way, I think the second highest total he's had all season long. In fact, it was his highest total all season long. So let me get this straight. We had 4 players do something that they basically haven't done all year long, going over their numbers that contributed to the total. The Hawks had 68 points in the paint, the third highest of any NBA team this season, and the highest by far the Hawks have had all season long. Also something that is outside the norm of what they do. Folks, you play to the numbers in this business, okay? That's why we say numbers matter. So when we look at a game like this, and we look at it for all it's worth, you had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 players, okay, exceed their expected outcome in point totals. And you had the Hawks have the third best output of any team this season, scoring inside by scoring 68 points. Not to mention that the Hawks were down by like 15 in the fourth quarter and came roaring back to win the game. These are statistical anomalies, things that don't happen. Yes, can they happen in sports betting? Absolutely. Okay? But the idea that we are, quote, effing clowns for taking the under is just a statement by an idiot. We played the numbers correctly. We had the right handicap. We got the wrong result. That happens. I believe that happens all the time. If you played the over in this game, I would tell you you were on the winning side. You weren't on the right side because you needed 4 different statistical anomalies for players and 1 statistical anomaly from a team standpoint in the NBA to happen in order for this thing to go over. So, to Mr. Commenter, you effing clown. Like, if you want to criticize us, totally okay with it. But at least know what the hell you're doing and know what you're talking about. It was the right handicap. We got a bad result because 4 statistical player anomalies came to fruition. Even if you knock out one of those players, if you just take Desmond Bane not having 35 points, guess what? This game stays under. If any of those 4 players play to their average, this game stays under. So, again, no problem with criticism. Here for it. No issues with it. But don't just go off half-cocked at us like we don't know what the hell we're doing, because we do. Okay? And then finally, I'll say one more thing to the guy.
Uh-oh.
Bite me.
Oh, you got really upset by that comment, didn't you there, buddy?
Well, again, it's not a question of being really upset. Like, you can criticize me. Just be informed when you criticize. It's totally okay. To anybody who tailed the play, I apologize, right? It wasn't our play, wasn't our night. It just didn't work out for us. The other plays that we gave out, they all cashed. Okay? Yeah. That happens. That's part of this whole entire racket that we have going on here. And it is a racket. Don't let anybody tell you. It's all a bunch of BS. It's the worst thing in the world. Beyond that, we're pretty good at it.
Tell you what a rousing endorsement that was from Mark Zinno. Now that we've talked about the loser from yesterday, let's talk about the winners.
We are on the show. We are. Okay. It's a racket.
Okay, well, hold on. All right, I'm actually going to do my half of the double play first, if that's okay. I'm going to give you a chance to catch your breath, and I'm going to talk about a little something with me, too. Yes, please, calm down. You're very upset. All right. Is there a better way, Mark Zinno, to start the show than by well, honestly, you have your rant. But then we're going to follow up your rant with a little America East discussion. We talked about the Big Sky Conference on yesterday's show. How about we go even deeper by working the America East into the program today? Interesting matchup here in the regular season finale. You got UMass-Lowell and Maine. There is a chance these teams are going to meet again in the first round of the conference tournament. Maine currently 3rd place, trailing only Bryan, who has been the class of this league all season, and Vermont, who is red hot at the moment. Now, things have not been going so great for the Black Bears, Mark, in case if you were unaware. They are 1-4 straight up, 0-5 ATS their last 5 games. Stop it. Even more damning is the fact Maine was favored in 4 of those 5 games. One time they were not. Last time out, here at home versus Bryant, they lose 80-72 as 2-point dogs. Again, Bryant has been the class of this league for those of you who don't follow. Now Maine back to being favored, laying a short number at home versus UMass-Lowell. And I think it's a good time to buy low on Maine. They've already beaten UMass-Lowell this season. That was obviously on the road when they beat them. Did have to rally from a 10-point deficit. Needed overtime to do so. But that's kind of how this season's gone for Lowell, Mark. The old Riverhawks, 5 conference losses this season by 4 points or less. 4 of those by 2 points or less. Now, if you've been paying attention, if you're a regular viewer of this program or the Power 5 or you subscribe to me, you know when teams tend to lose close, that's the profile of a team that sometimes I want to back. But I just don't think UMass-Lowell is as good as Maine. Especially defensively, the Riverhawks outside the top 300 nationally, Mark, in defensive rating, and they're not great at defending the 3, which is a problem when you're facing a Maine team that has the number 1 3-point percentage in America East play, just under 40%. On the flip side, do we think UMass-Lowell is going to shoot 61% again from the floor like they did over the weekend against Binghamton? I do not. Give me the better team. At home, laying a short number. This number's actually come down as we're speaking. You could probably play Maine on the money line now if you'd want. Maine, Mark, was a nice vacation spot for the Power family last summer. Hopefully, the state is kind to me once again tonight. Look for the Black Bears to come out roaring. There you go. My half of the double play.
Still feels kind of racist when you say it. Just let you know.
Their nickname. I don't know. Okay. I don't know why you're casting aspersions. It's their nickname.
I don't know. Who did you think was golden that wasn't the Golden Grizz? Yeah, we tried when we talked about Montana. That it was just the regular Grizzlies, not the Golden Grizzlies. You have a thing with Bears.
Golden Grizzlies. I think they are. I think they used to be the Golden Grizzlies. Maybe they got rid of the Golden. I don't know. Maybe it's like Golden Shower. I don't know.
No, never.
For the Golden Grizzlies, I'm going to look into that. While you give us your half of the double play. Yes. I'm going to look into the history of Montana's nickname. I don't even remember what game you're going to talk about here. Oh, it's North Carolina and Virginia Tech.
As you would call it, North Kakalaki.
A little North Kakalaki, yes, at Va Tech. We had some fun talking about this game on the show yesterday because you tried telling me that Ken Palm had this as a 2-point game, to which I said, my God, are we getting some value?
There's no reason to bring that up. I just looked right and get out of my Ken Palm, bro, okay? Brian Power and Brian, I'm nice enough. okay, to pay for the subscription to KenPom. And Brian Power uses my username and password. And every time he logs in, it kicks me out. And he's always in my damn KenPom. So get out of my KenPom, bro. I just read the wrong column. I got excited because I love the situation here for the Hokies. And I read the wrong column. I saw Virginia, and my eyes went right to it. And I'm like, okay, this is not right. And anyway, but Hokie, high, tech, Solar X, Solar Ra, Polytech, Virginia, Ray Ra, VPI, team. Why do I know the Virginia Tech fight song? Because I had like a dozen friends who went there, a bunch of friends who served in the Corps Cadets. So I've partied at Virginia Tech a bunch throughout my post-college years. Anyway, great spot here for the Hokies. And here's what's interesting, okay? Virginia Tech needs a win here to stay out of the 10 spot in the ACC. Why is that important? Because 9 and above get a first round bye in the ACC tournament coming up next week. So we know they're going to be motivated. We also know that Brian Power loves the final home game angle. This is the final home game of the year for the Hokies at Castle Coliseum. North Carolina has won 6 straight. After losing to, it was Clemson, their margin of victory seems to have gotten bigger in every single game. The last 4, they've won by at least 9 in all of them. Situationally, I just think this is too many points. This is a North Carolina defense that averages giving up 76.5 points per game. Virginia Tech shoots better than 45% from the field at home and almost 38% from 3 at home at Castle Coliseum. Against a bad defense, that's enough for me to believe that the Hokies can keep this thing close. I don't know if they're going to win it, but with North Carolina having a big game on deck against, what's that school's name? Yeah, that's right, Duke. So a little bit of a look-ahead spot here for the Tar Heels from North Kakalaki, as Brian Power would say, which is not really a thing. Anyway, but let's take Virginia Tech tonight, getting 8.5 at home against North Carolina as the Tar Heels prep for the Duke Blue Devils. And Brian Power just went to sleep. Oh, there he is.
I apologize. I had myself on mute. I apologize. I wanted to give you all of the airtime that you deserve.
The funny part is that, like, when you're not supposed to be on mute, you're on mute. Most of the times when I want you to shut up, you're not on mute.
I apologize. I'm just not living up to your expectations today, and I apologize for that.
You are the anchor of this show, and by that I mean you're dragging us down.
That's not very nice, quite frankly. I didn't appreciate that one bit. Okay, that's disgusting. What you said. I actually want to say I have several things to say right now.
Okay,
number one, Montana never was the Golden Grizzlies. It's Oakland. It's the Golden Grizzlies. So I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. All right, I was wrong. I was okay. You don't like my microphone. You don't like my microphone. You insulted my microphone before the show started. You have called me an anchor here on the show, which offended me deeply. And you know what? You are kicking dirt on me because I got the wrong Golden Grizzlies. So there you go. Yes. I will like to say this, though. Some people, you talk about the comments section yesterday, many people have taken umbrage on the program. With my contrarian nature. Because here's the thing. They don't like when I take these ugly teams and then they lose. Yeah. And I get it. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Okay. By the way, Kansas was a winner on this show yesterday.
Yes, it was.
I will say this, and you know this better than anyone because I talk to you every day. If you're someone who doesn't like to go contrarian, I'm going to be very honest. You always talk about being the brokers of honesty. I'm not the handicapper for you, guys. I'm not. If you are afraid, if you don't like to hold your nose and take bad teams, you're not going to like the way I do things. That's just what I do. I jump in front of the tracks. I like to, put my hand in the cookie jar, so to speak, Mark Zinno. We take ugly underdogs. And I say that because today is $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk, and boy, is today's $5 play on brand from yours truly. It is very much a bribe. So if you don't like taking ugly teams, then guess what? You can save the $5, okay? And yeah, I did have a bad day on the Power 5 Sunday. By the way, I did win a 5% play on Sunday with Illinois, okay, against Michigan, and I've been doing quite well. In case if you'd like to look at the leaderboard, Mark Zinno. Oh, so now you roll your it's okay to kick dirt on me, but if I want to say something nice about myself, yes, I'm speaking out of turn.
Let me say something nice about you.
Ooh.
I don't have anything nice to say about you, but I was just going to say, let me do it when I do. You don't have to. We don't do self-promotion on this show. We don't.
We do.
I know you do. Shamelessly, without hesitation. But go ahead. If you'd like to go stroke yourself, I'll be in the other room until you're done.
Number one last 3 days. Number one last 7 days. I don't know if this college basketball run, 26-9, my last 35 college basketball selections. So if you don't mind going contrarian, guys, WT.buzz/BP. I got a $5 play up for you here. I know you have a $5 play up as well, Mark Zinno. Would you like to tell the folks about that?
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Are we done? Yes.
You weren't asleep. You were pretending.
Yes, I was.
I thought that was rude.
Just to prove
very rude today.
Okay, guys.
I'm going to tell you all about my great record on Tuesday. It's 20-6 over the last 26 Tuesdays. That might be the best at WagerTalk. Yay!
Anyway, $5 Tuesdays has been very kind to all of us. We have another $5 play. Speaking of on brand, this is a very on brand play for me, because Bryan Power knows how I like to, look at different angles, different markets, different ways of slicing a game up. So $5 Tuesday here. Again, really, seriously, 26 run. We've been very good on Tuesdays. Don't know why. Have no explanation for it. Maybe it's just luck. Maybe it's just dumb coincidence. But nonetheless, we'll keep riding it. Go to the page, WT.buzz/MZ for the $5 Tuesday play. I have also, because I'm in a giving nature, typically I only put out one play on Tuesdays because that's all everybody ever cares about. But I actually have 2 more college basketball plays up today because I kind of really liked them. And I couldn't really decide between my $5 play and this one, so I wanted to give them all out. So they're up there too at WT.buzz/MZ. But the $5 play is the one you're going to go for, so just do that. If you're a, quote, client, you'll get the other ones too. So there we go.
How's the Reno market doing?
It's uncalled for.
Markets.
It's uncalled
for. There you go. I could be nasty too. All right, well, there's 2 people laughing at that joke. All right. Anyway, what?
And Joe Ranieri would be laughing too if he was here. Dan, you missed it.
Would be.
Thank God you missed it. I don't ever want to talk about it again.
All right. Let's talk about our show best bet. It's more college basketball. I can't remember. No, it's one of the biggest games on the board today. It is Iowa State hosting BYU. And hey, you talk contrarian as advertised. I think it's a great time, Mark, and you do obviously as well, because this is something we both agree on. That's the way the best bet works. It's a good time to sell high on BYU, who is not the same team away from Provo. Yes, they've been red hot. They've covered, 5 in a row now? BYU 5, 6 in a row. But again, they're on the road going to Ames. Iowa State is now fully healthy. They kind of had a, how should we say, a February swoon, Mark, did the Cyclones? Well, they were struggling, but they weren't healthy. They weren't healthy. And that's
their starters were hurt for over a period of 4 or 5 games. They just didn't have their original starting 5 from the year, particularly their starting point guard. What's his name again? Gilbert. Keyshawn Gilbert, who missed a couple of games. So, those are the 2 losses to Houston and OK State that he was out over the last couple of weeks. But, here's the thing, right? In general, I'm weary of this 8.5, 9.5 number. I just, we're in a spot where it's a number I don't want to lay all that often. I have to have really convincing evidence. And I will acknowledge, because I always do this, the way I handicap, I always look at the pitfalls and the way it won't cover. Have to acknowledge BYU's hot shooting at this point in time, right? Over the 6-game win streak, they're shooting better than 51% from the field. They're shooting nearly 40% from 3. This is going to be a challenge for an Iowa State defense, but they are healthy and they are home. And the fact that this number is this big, I think, is very telling of what odds makers believe who the much better team is here, and that's Iowa State. So, BYU, for all of their pluses on offense, their defense, guys, is really bad. I shouldn't say that. Really bad is aggressive. They have a lot of weak spots in their defense. I mean, they're in the bottom half of the league in the conference. And here's the other problem. They're bad on the perimeter. They're 12th out of 16 teams in 3-point shooting. In case you haven't noticed, Iowa State, they shoot the 3 pretty well, especially at home. So, that's a problem for me to back them. And the other thing, too, why you can really sort of rely on Iowa State to get over this number, BYU is also a bad free throw shooting team, which is really, really odd. For a team that shoots the 2-point shot as well as they do, number 1 in the conference, the 3-point shot as well as they do, number 2 in the conference, they're 13th at 68% in free throw shooting. It's like, hey, give away free points, why don't you? So that could be a difference here with Iowa State, getting up and over this number. So let's lay it with the Cyclones here and lay the 8.5.
Yeah, when fully healthy, Zinno, Iowa State has lost just one game all season. That game was to Auburn, number one in the country, and it came on a last-second tip-in. Iowa State was up big in that game as well. That was back. Was that in Maui? I feel that was some tournament. I can't remember if it was Maui or not. I apologize. I don't have that up in front of me. But it was a non-con. It was an MTE situation. So still, Iowa State to me, when fully healthy, I think they have an argument to be a top 5 team in the country. And we think in Ames tonight, little Hilton Magic, they blow out BYU. That is our show best bet. Smash that
Iowa
like
State
button
also
if you agree.
fits the profile of what Ken Pom has as teams that have won like the last 20 national titles in terms of where they are in offensive adjusted offensive efficiency and adjusted defensive efficiency. They're one of like 9 schools that fit that profile. Duke's up there, Auburn, Maryland, I think, is part of that whole crew. If you're looking at futures market, and as we get in a conference tournament next week, we got to kind of give some future bets out for conference tournaments and everything else. I think it's well worth it for the viewing audience.
I agree. For some of these ones, I've been doing some digging in the last 24 to 48 hours on some of these, these smaller conference tournaments. I kind of like the chalk in a lot of them, which isn't very interesting, but Central Connecticut State is by far the best team in the Northeast Conference.
Okay, I would one other thing future wise, we talked about this yesterday, you and I off air briefly. Like, as much as Duke is, priced like they're going to win the national title, I wouldn't be upset if I was holding a Duke ticket at 3-1 to win the whole thing.
Dude, this Duke team is nasty. All right, you talk about a dumb contrarian play. What you talk about a dumb contrarian play on the Power 5 yesterday? I said, look, guys, Duke has been a wagon. They've got North Carolina on deck. From a sell high perspective, maybe they slip up here against Wake Forest. Not lose, but they just don't win by 20 points. Well, it was a pretty close game early in the second half, and guess what happened? Duke goes on a 37-9 run. Duke, I believe, has the highest net rating in Ken Pom history now. This team is sick.
I mean, look, they are on a bit of a downward trend, BP. As the last 4 games, their winning margin dropped from 43 to 37 to 35 to 33. So clearly, it's a great time to fade Duke because, they're just not really beating anybody by 40 anymore.
They are a hell of a basketball team, man. They are a hell of a basketball team.
They might not win the whole thing, but I would not be upset at any ticket I had on Duke to win it all right now, even if it's at 3-1. What are they right now to win the whole thing? Let me just look real quick. Let's see. Duke is plus 350. I wouldn't even be upset right now if I could have Duke plus 350. Yes. Why? Because it's just, remember, it was like taking those Scotty Scheffler props in golf. Like, who cares?
Yes, I remember that.
I just kept winning. Like, you're not going to be upset when they win. So go get a Duke future ticket. You're not going to be wrong for it.
Does DraftKings still have that deal where you can bet Duke and Auburn versus the field? So basically, if you bet it, you need Duke or Auburn to win the national championship.
Don't do that. Don't.
You don't want to do that. Oh, okay.
No, I would not endorse that.
You don't endorse that. Mark Zinno doesn't like that bet, everybody. So that's a free piece of advice here. Comment down below. Who is your?
I would generally take the field, though. Like, that is meant for you to get suckered into taking Duke and Auburn, when I would always play the field against anything. Hey, when I go to the craps table, guess who plays the field? This guy. Why? Because I like a lot of chances for numbers. So
you're always playing the field. We know that.
You know what sucks when you play the field? When 5 comes up, because 5 is not in the damn field. Drives me insane. I don't know why they left out 5.
Sorry. Okay. Comment down below with your dark horse national title contender. If it's not Duke, if it's not Auburn, who do you think is a good bet to win the national championship? I would like to see your guys' opinions.
Because I love the people. By the way, another free play for tonight. Patriot League tournament, Loyola Greyhounds. My alma mater. Go Hounds. -1.5. Take Loyola on the money line. Lehigh is not winning another damn road game. Okay? These conference tournament games are played at the court of the higher seed. Loyola's at home. Only laying 1.5. They'll be fine. Go Greyhounds.
Okay, there you go. You are just a ball of energy today. You insulted me too. I'm still hurting from that earlier. All right, that's going to do it for the.
That's what part of this show is. Part of the repartee here.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Oh, I just log on to get insulted.
Yes, you say intelligent things for the audience, and I sit there and insult you for it when you decide to stroke yourself in front of everybody. There will be none of that.
So you're like the spiritual follow-up of Joe Ranieri when I first started at this network, and he just, I was like, what did I ever do to this man? Just it's all good fun though. We love it,
Listen,
we love you guys.
I love you. We're great friends, but in this forum, you're a punching bag. Just deal with it.
Walked 6 miles yesterday.
Congratulations, fat ass.
Good shit. All right, that was uncalled for. Okay, that was uncalled for. Okay. You know what? I'm going to tell you. You know what? While you eat healthy, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Okay.
What's that?
I'm going to make a shocking admission to the way. You know what? If I go a few years earlier than I'm supposed to because I ran to the border too much, I had too much Taco Bell. So what?
Yeah.
Better. You know what? Dying from a cheesy gordita crunch. You know what it's better than? Getting hit by a bus. There you go.
That is
true. What do you got to say about that? What do you got to say? All right, everybody. That's going to do it for today's show. I don't know what the hell we talked about. I already forgot. But hopefully you enjoyed it. Smash that like button if you did. And make sure you click
comment
subscribe
down below
to the WagerTalk
because
channel.
I dare you to comment down below.
Okay. Okay. Be prepared for Mark Zinno to knock on your door if you say the wrong thing. Everybody, let's catch the tickets. Until next time.